Ever have a kid do something that they instantly regretted, felt embarrassed about, ashamed, or guilty? Have you ever done something like that? We all have. I've had kids who have broken windows, burnt cupcakes, nearly burned the house down, blacked out on important tests, made their siblings cry, had an accident, or threw up in school. We all do things that we feel guilty about or that we feel ashamed and embarrassed about. Shame and guilt are some of the most powerful human emotions that we have, which means that some of us might carry guilt and shame about certain things way into adulthood, where it continues to affect our behavior in some ways. So how do you move past it? How do we help our kids shed that shame? And how do we help our potential customers shed the guilt and shame that they have about a problem so that you can help them solve it? This episode is all about the power of it's not your fault. Welcome to Market Like a Parent and Parent Like a Marketer, where we explore the connections between parenting and marketing and what one can teach us about the other. I'm Danielle Weil, founder of DW Copy, creator of LaunchFlow. I'm a mom of 4 living on a kibbutz in Israel. I've been a copywriter for 20 years, marketing strategist, launch expert. I've worked in all kinds of industries, from golf to weight loss to spirituality, health and wellness, online business, B2B. You name it, I have probably written for it and gone deep into the psychology of that market. And that has helped me make over $100 million for clients over the course of my career. And what I want to talk about today is something that, as a copywriter, you tend to do instinctively in your writing, because you know that this is the crucial piece that helps someone move from stuck emotions where they're unable to make a decision and buy to suddenly having that be the most necessary thing. The power of it's not your fault. Now, we all carry shame and guilt for things that happened as a kid. I carried guilt for things that happened as a kid for years that I took the blame for without even asking, without understanding the situation. And it took me a lot of working through it as an adult to realize that no, it was actually not my fault. I was not to blame. We perceive things differently when we're younger. We misread situations. Even as adults, we misread situations and may take blame for things that are not ours to carry. Because guilt and shame are really powerful emotions. But the problem is they freeze you in place. They're paralyzing. We recoil from them. We back away. So if your clients, if your audience are blaming themselves and feeling guilty about not being able to solve the problem that they have, whether it is their baby not sleeping through the night, carrying 40 pounds of excess weight, procrastination, not making enough money in their business, whatever problem they have, they are not going to be in a place to be able to move through that problem, to move past it and solve it, if they feel it's their fault. If they are stuck in it is my fault that this is happening. There's an avoidance of that guilt and shame, and therefore they're not available even to address the problem. So before we can sell anything, we have to relieve that guilt and that shame. We have to make sure that they understand it's not your fault. Now, how do we do this? By pushing the blame out, by putting the blame somewhere external. Playing a crappy game of golf, can't hit the ball as long as you want it? Well, no wonder. You're actually being taught to swing in a way that is easy for the pros, but amateurs actually struggle with. Struggling to lose weight? Well, of course you are, but it's not your fault. It's the diet industry that puts us on this roller coaster of shame and yo-yo diets that aren't actually right for your metabolism. Or diet foods that are actually full of sugar, or misunderstanding of what it actually takes to have the right levels of hormones in order to lose weight. See? Can't fall asleep at night, dealing with insomnia. It's not your fault. It's the blue light in your device that's messing with your circadian rhythm. See how this works? See how this feels? There's a relief of, oh, it's not my fault. But with that relief comes responsibility. Because if the problem that you are dealing with is not actually your fault, if the cause of that problem is external, something that you didn't understand until now that you understand, what are you going to do about it? That relief gets someone out of a state of fight, flight, freeze, whatever, and can actually move them into action and decision. And whenever we can relieve that blame and shame from our kids, it also frees them up to learn and be better. A kid who is stuck feeling bad for something that they did is not emotionally available to learn from it and be better and actually understand the situation. They are stuck looping in that guilt and shame. It's not productive. It's not positive. If we're actually going to help our kids grow, if we're going to help them be better humans, first they have to take responsibility for the things that are their responsibility and relinquish responsibility for the things that aren't. The things that are not their fault, the things that they weren't expected to know and understand. But now that you know that you shouldn't put metal in the microwave because it'll spark. This happened. I did this twice as a kid, put the same metal coffee cup in the microwave twice. And the second time is when I felt really bad about it because, I should have known better. I think we've all had someone, until they understand that you don't put metal in the microwave, put something metal in the microwave and it sparks and You didn't know until you know. That wasn't your fault. There's no blame, there's no shame, there's no guilt. There's just knowledge. There's just, okay, now I know. I won't do that again. Now I can do better. And if we forget, also, we're human. So in your marketing, make sure that you are putting the blame where it belongs with an external culprit. Now, a nuance and a caveat to this is if there is some element of blame and fault, because there generally is, we are the result of our behaviors and actions and beliefs, even if there is an understanding that we don't have that is causing a problem. Sometimes it actually is. It's not useful, though, to place blame ever on our ideal clients. That's not productive. Just focus on the external reason for the problem, for the blame. And in your parenting, pay attention to how, when you might get upset at your kids for something they did, that they are not taking more of that blame, shame, and guilt with them than they need to. And if it's not their fault at all, make sure they know that. I think we all carry some element of those emotions with us from things that happen to us. And the more we can work through it, the more we can understand that some of those things were not our fault, the more we're able to step into growth. Now, until next time, I'm Danielle Weil. Let's go out there and market like a parent and parent like a marketer.